Hey all, new day, new verses. Let's dig into verses 6 through 9. What's important in all of this is that you keep a holy day, that if you keep a holy day, keep it for God's sake. If you eat meat, eat it to the glory of God and thank God for a prime rib. If you're a vegetarian, eat vegetables to the glory of God and thank God for broccoli. None of us are permitted to insist on our own way in these matters. It's God we are answerable to, on the way from life to death and everything in between, not each other. That's why Jesus lived and died and then lived again, so that he could be our master across the entire range of life and death and free us from the petty tyranny of each other. I love that in this in this verse set, the idea becomes very clear that the fights that we get into aren't the point. That it is God who we ultimately answer to. He is the one who gives us our strength. He's the one who convicts us as to what we're doing is right or wrong. And that although he will use other people to help guide us, at the end of the day, it all has to come through a relationship. That Jesus tells us how to live. We submit to him as master rather than each other, and he will direct our footsteps. And I know it's like, well, what about going to, your fellow and doing all this, and, because some people might say it's a great way to sound like it's no longer accountable. But that's not what it's saying at all. It's saying you, me, all of us are very, very much accountable. But to Christ, not each other. And to be perfectly honest, I think that's far, far, not more intimidating, but definitely more fear of the Lord kind of inducing, because people can be swayed. The Lord is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He'll listen, he'll hear, but he's not going to do the same kind of justification hoops that we do as a species to say what is right and what is wrong. He'll straight up say, no, that's wrong to do. Or, yes, that's right to do. We don't have to have each other's like, well, my Presbyterian background says to do this. Well, my Presbyterian says and my Catholic says to do, or my worldly background says to do this. No, what does God say? And are you giving him the glory? Because if you're going, well, I don't really have to keep a specific Sabbath date or day, because every day is holy. That's a perfectly valid go of it. Same as I want to keep just Sunday or Saturday or whatever day. The point is that it's being done to the glory of God. If you're eating all meat, do it to the glory of God. If you're eating all veggies, do it to the glory of God. If you're any of the other what have you diets, do it to the glory of God. Whatever we do, however we do it, let it be to the glory of God. Because if it's to the glory of ourselves, what's the point? If it's building our own empire, what's the point? That's not living for the kingdom. And empires like that are always done away with. Always. It may take some time, but they're always done away with. The word even says they are thrown into the fire. So I wonder, it's like, okay, what if the point here then, that Paul is getting through in all of this said it has nothing, or rather very little, to do with each other breathing down each other's throat. Because think about it. This is chapter 14. We're almost to the end of Romans here. And Paul's not an idiot. He's going to write based in an order, a logical order. So the fact that we have relationships to this side of the book, that means that everything about the relationship ideas he's already discussed. We've already discussed. The type of love we live, the type of generosity, the how we do it. Because it's a lot easier to not worry about, well, you're only supposed to eat veggies, or you're only supposed to eat meat. No. What I do for the glory of God. If I go running, let it be to the glory of God. If I go mountain climbing, let it be to the glory of God. If I sit and play Minecraft with friends, let it be to the glory of God. Because he is the focus. And as we read on, and we will see, Thursday, Friday, Yeah, Friday. We'll go into that verse. If you want to skip ahead, it's in the description. But we'll go in for the fact that everything is already in God's hands. We can choose to try and wrestle it from Him, or we can live with Him and move with Him and let Him call the shots. So the word says in Luke that He's in the driver's seat. We're not. So I give the advice here that was given to me when meditating on the Holy Spirit. Get your hand off the wheel. And it doesn't say to take it away completely. And to be perfectly honest, the image that God gave me is, those old bench trucks? The single bed for everybody to sit on in a pickup? That Jesus is sitting there in the driver's seat, making the pickup go, and I'm there with my head in His lap. Not focusing on where the vehicle is going, just being glad to be there, relaxing. And it kind of has given me this sense of peace that no matter what troubles or struggles or things may come, that God is in my corner. So, like waiting for God to heal my back and neck, God is in my corner. So even on days when I'm twitching in pain, then let me twitch to the glory of God. Because He's got it anyway. So why should I feel like I have to carry more weight when I can give it to Him? When I can give Him what I carry? A lady from the leader of my women's group shared a beautiful story that was a plumber who had a tree outside of their house, and they would put both hands on the end of the tree and go back, leave it there, and then go into the house, and then come back out. Person asked, "Okay, why'd you do that?" And said, "Well, I hang my trees up here because I know, or my troubles on this tree, because I know there are troubles on the outside, but they don't belong on the inside. So I leave them here, and I trust God to take care of them. In the morning when I come out to grab them, there's fewer than I remember hanging." And that is a beautiful idea, because it's the truth. When we walk away from being in the middle of it and trust that God has it, then we can praise. So even suffering can be done to the glory of God. Not because of the suffering, but because God is glorious. Because He has us, because He's in our corner. Because He will never leave us nor forsake us. Not just because it's not in His character, but because one cannot be omnipresent and abandon anyone. We can certainly walk out on Him, which I think we see in a lot of lives, especially lives that are, more interested in the do it my way. Well, what did God tell you to do? Because that matters. And if there are things like that, God will give the information. God will hit you with the 2x4 if you need it. And I'm pretty sure everybody who's had the experience knows exactly what I mean. And if you have someone in your life or in your family who has experienced it, you know exactly what I mean. So, that alone, that idea, if God needs to hit you with a 2x4 to get His point across, He'll do it. Mix that with people. Mix that with doing it to the glory of God. Live life. Live love. And chase after Him and His kingdom. I desire mercy over sacrifice. Live a life that puts others first. And see Him work it out. And that's not an admonishment. It's not a trust me, do it this way. This is talking from my own experience. I may not see, fully understand, or get it myself, but I do know. Grok, know. Wissen, know. To know intimately that God will not bail. It may be a crappy situation, but those crappy situations are moments where we can say, okay, but God's got this. And we can share that and show that He is our sovereign King by trusting Him to take care of it. Because He will. It just is a matter of trust and relying on Him. It's not an easy thing to start doing, but like with any relationship, it starts with a single step and gets easier as you go. I will see you guys tomorrow for verses, making sure I have it right, 10 through 12, unless God directs me otherwise. See you guys then. God bless, and his favor be upon you.